I'm going to begin by asking a very silly question. I love your glasses. Is that what allows you to do such great color? That makes you such a great DI and colorist?
I'm trying to be cool, actually.
Okay.
So we'll keep this candid, actually. I don't want to go technical or something.
Yeah. We'll keep, as we discussed, we'll keep it candid. You were basically working at Ad Labs many years ago, and what has the journey been like from being you were an artist, colorist, from that to becoming an entrepreneur today? What has your journey been like?
So it was 27 years back.
Wow.
1996 is where I had a privilege to be a part of Ad Labs because it was owned by my uncle, Navin Shetty. And that privilege, I went inside his room and I told that I want to be a director, editor. And he just took 15 minutes to send me back to the lab. He said, that's your place. Go there and learn. Learn negatives, positives. And my dream was trashed because I thought of becoming a director, editor. You have that when you're too young, basically. So yeah, the journey was analog and good level of experience working with the workers over there. They were my, you can say, a guru who used to teach me the insight of chemicals, negatives, positives, and that's how the journey began. And from there, it was different companies I jumped because I just thought that my growth will be stopped if I just stick on with being a privileged nephew, actually. So I joined Subhash Guy's company that was named Audius, then Prime Focus. Prime Focus is a place where I got recognized doing Omkara. This is where my professionally people started noticing me as a colorist. And then I had to change gears to join EFX Prasad, and that went for 2-3 years, and then Pixian. And then I just thought that things were not going my way because any company I used to join used to shut down. So I thought I'm a bad...
You thought you were a jinx.
Yeah, so I just thought that I should... so I just joined another company where I started doing advertising, and I became an advertising colorist. And I had my own clientele, and that company also was not doing great. That's why 2015 we started Nube. I had a bunch of my colleagues who came together with me, stood by me, and that's how Nube's journey began. And 2018 is where we started my production house, Fundamental Pictures. Ventana was again 2018. 2019 is where Nube Cirrus was found. Unfortunately, we went for 2 years COVID. But 2022 was great. So we have these great journeys of web series happening might be after 22 is where we stepped into CG-VFX because we are recognized as a DI studio. Majorly color grading was our strength. But CG-VFX was something which I wanted to take it along and work together and try to see what better outputs can be achieved in that small way. And that's how we started off Nube Cirrus.
So what are some of the challenges you face? You've been a colorist, now you've got CG and VFX coming in. So what are some of the challenges you face incorporating both of these elements together?
Challenges, I'll tell you, there's a structure which, okay, let's take it this way. So we have 2,500 films in a year. In that, 10% of the film is where a top notch of color grading and visual effects happen. Out of that, I think so, there's 2% or 3% of a films which really gets into the deep dive of CG-VFX, high-end CG-VFX with the DI. And and that's where I feel the structure has to come, where a colorist needs to be involved in inceptions, actually. When a storyboard is designed, when a DP goes for a shoot, a test shoot, I think so the involvement should be there at that particular point of time, along with the CG supervisor. That thing is missing at some point where the correlations between a director, DP, visual effects, and a colorist is never there. That's where we sometimes face challenges in that coordination part of it, the output part of it, because colorist has their own way to show that, we can do this to the image, that to the image, but that really impacts the CG, because CG works with a certain style, certain aesthetics, and certain flows. So you see a lot of problems coming out on CG because a color grading artist is not kept on loop of how the structure should be. That's the gap which probably the challenges we face. And with Nube Cirrus starting in, probably we try to structure this out in the initial stages where our VFX supervisors, our own VFX supervisors, are in touch with the colorists, give them the feedback that this is how we are going to approach. For example, suppose there's a day and night in Charlie Chopra. That was balanced to around 60% to give a night effect, and then taken to CGI. So that's all, that sort of coordination is needed between two studios. Suppose it's the VFX is happening outside, I feel that that's sort of a transition, that sort of a transparency should be there between the two houses, where things will be much smoother, much more efficient, and that's where things develop a challenge at some point,
Yep. So technology is evolving so fast. A colorist, again, has to keep abreast. There's CG, there's VFX. So how does technological evolution impact the way you handle projects?
So it's the continuity of what I've said, actually.
No, but this is about technology. This is not about the human element.
So technology is probably a softwares, like color grading softwares are now talking to the VFX softwares. The CDL or the BLGs, which is sent across to the VFX houses, that can relate that this is a look which a DOP and a colorist is going to have it. And that is passed on to the VFX house, and he has a general idea that how this look and feel will be. And that's how he approaches his CG-VFX on that context. So that's where the technology is coming up, and there's a lot of other softwares we are talking to each other right now, So probably these sort of things, virtual production, which I heard Senthil talking about, I still feel there's a long way to go for that. There is a bit of discrepancies on those areas, but we'll reach there.
So you've already addressed the issue of color consistency when you're working with different project teams. What's the most effective way to have that work? Like you mentioned, the colorist has to be involved right from the beginning. Are there any other things any other processes that need to be in place in the workflow?
When I said color consistency, it depends project to project, actually. Because a colorist being involved from inception is very much necessary, because that look board is being designed and the colorist has his own input into it. And when we approach a film, so everyone is in one page, I heard Senthil saying that he prefers grading as a Rec 709. I think so he's quite sure, and he can convince his director and producers that this is my look of the film. But there's many DOPs who shoot so nicely as a Rec 709, and then some directors stick on with that. They don't like to apply any sort of a look to it. They want to have that sort of a look as their final approach, So then there is a sort of a discussion, there's a sort of a discrepancies between the look of the film, and then that affects the CGs also, because CG again is based on the look, what we design. And that's how it happens, basically, that structure.
So is there a difference in the way you approach for cinema screens versus what you do for OTT, basically digital shows? I don't like the word web series because everyone's making web series, even Panwalas. So please, let's call it digital premium originals.
The color grading approach is the same, but the point is you're grading on a monitor, this you're grading on a big screen. But ultimately, you're going to see on a mobile or a iPad or a thing, and you're still going to complain about it, basically. So for us, the challenge is what we see in a studio, we get it approved by the hierarchy, directors, DOPs and all that, and that's the process we follow. There's nothing, no differences as such for us as a colorist, actually.
But I thought, the Netflixes of the world and the Prime videos of the world are more exacting as compared to Indian cinema. I hate the word Bollywood too because we are not a cheap replica of Hollywood. I prefer calling it Indian cinema. As compared to the big screen, some of the producers are not that exacting, whereas Netflix, Prime Video, Netflix especially is very exacting. They want that, they want it, no matter what the cost.
So this is one important thing which we missed out. Yeah, Netflix is a game changer for us over here because they bought a technology, they saw that we apply that, and it's really helped all the studios to streamline their processes, whether it is color grading. Before that, there's something called as a DIT, and then the QC check, which happens, that immediate response of if anything gets, suppose there's some digital issues in the shoot time, they rectify there and there. If that things can rectify on set, it's great. If you don't, then reshoot it at the same time, then come over here, channelize it, work on a certain workflow, and get the whole process streamlined in such a way that you can see in their outputs, basically. They are one of the best outputs which I see. Amazon also not far away, but they have a different way of working, basically, not as technical as Netflix. Sony is catching up. They have also come up with HDR, but that's a very initial stage they are in. So yeah, that might take time, but I feel that we as a studio, I think so, a lot of credit should be given to Netflix on that context, actually.
Fabulous. So Nube Cirrus as a studio, VFX house, what's your vision for it going forward? Because you're known more for your color grading, for your DI. So what's your vision for it? I mean, because it's a competitive landscape. We've got NYFX, VFX Wala, we've got Red Chilies, we've got YRF, we've got tons of bot VFX. If I forget any names, please forgive me because I can't take all the names. So please don't grudge me that I didn't take your studio's name.
Yeah, we also want to be like them, actually. Just following on their footsteps, they have achieved something really great. I think we are just starting. Yeah, we would be somewhere down the line a threat to them, if you can take it that way. But yeah, we are seriously looking into CG-VFX, and we see tremendous potential in the artist what we have, and in the coming times we are strengthening our team, we are expanding, just taking a break for some time because the market is having a correction. But our vision is to expand to different parts of the state, and we also have in Bhubaneswar also, we have a VFX studio in Bhubaneswar. So we're expanding, we are going to Chennai now. Plans us to start in Chennai, capture that market, understand the market basically.
Capture or understand?
Both together actually, because I'm already started doing my homework on that because being there since 20 years, I know some of the DOPs, and I know what they look for, and they want a steady DI house. Along with that, a CG house who can handle their product carefully with love, and we belong to that. We respect because me being a colorist, I've handled negatives, and I treat the same way how digitals has come up. And we have accepted the way it is now. It's going to change. We were talking about it some days back that AI is going to take over things. I feel when film was there and digital came in, when we were talking at that particular point, we are finding it, no, it's not possible. Things went flowing. It was slow transition. So same thing will happen 15 years down the line where AI will, I don't think so any job cut or someone is going to take over AI is going to take over human things. No, it will, but there'll be more efficient of work for such creative talents to be there, basically. I don't think so any threat for us, basically. It's just going to help us in that process.
So as a colorist, this is something do you like warm colors? Do you like soothing colors? Do you like cooling colors? As a colorist, what do you prefer? Is it,
okay,
I know
now,
you'll tell me that
now
it's
you
a
talk about,
storyline.
yeah, now you talk about color grading. That's my strength. So I will try to give you, I don't believe in colors actually. I believe in contrast. And I have been always telling whoever wants to be a colorist, you need to get your right contrast. Colors come secondary. Contrast is where you create the feel, depth, and what the film needs. Justify as per what the film needs. It can be a Golmaal, it can be a Omkara, it can be Hiramandi.
I haven't got a chance. You got a chance to see it?
I just saw the trailer.
Okay.
I loved it, actually. I loved it. It's the way the contrast is. See how it's being great.
So you like contrast-heavy films like 300? 300 must
absolutely. It's the way it helps the story. It needs to help the story, you know. And that's how CG-VFX also needs to blend with the color grading is what's most important, actually. And that doesn't happen. Some films I see, it takes out. The CG-VFX takes out because it's not been planned well, you know.
Great. Any questions from the audience? Ashish, you have any question? Or anyone else in the audience? No questions. So I have 51 seconds left. So we finished on time. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I think I learned a lot about coloring as well as DI, as well as the fact that Nube is combining CG and VFX and also the DI process together as a single pipeline, which is amazing.
And also film production.
Oh, I forget film production. So three P's.
We belong to independent filmmakers. Like, we do independent films. Wish to do commercial, but I don't think so we belong there. So we want to stick on with doing independent films which touches our heart, whether it is the look, story, everything. Yes.
Round of applause. Thank you again.
Thank you, Navin sir, for adding the right colors to our films, shows and life. And you've definitely added some colors to VAM 2024. Thank you for that engaging discussion.